This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 12th of January in the year 2022. I'm Gordon Mosley, and here's what we're tracking tonight. A major investigation into suspected financial improprieties at the headquarters of the Guyana Fire Service has been launched, and the fire chief is facing a number of questions. News Source understands that the investigations were prompted by an audit of the operations at the fire service headquarters, which raised several worrying issues. Parts of the investigations currently underway involves the price that companies were being charged for petroleum license and safety certificates. There are reports that some companies were charged as much as 100 times above the official cost for the license and certificates, with no trace of the funds being left behind. One company was charged $1.5 million for a safety certificate that carries a cost of $100. It is suspected that the company and other companies might have been provided with fake receipts that are not linked to the fire service's accounts. It is also believed that other services were also overcharged, and there is no direct trace of the money from many of those services. The fire chief was reportedly warned during meetings about the financial issues that were linked directly to him, and told to discontinue the practice of being directly involved in the financial activities of the headquarters. News Source has seen documents that show that the issue was forwarded to the Ministry of Home Affairs, prompting the internal investigations. As part of the investigation, statements were submitted by staffers in the administrative department of the fire service headquarters, as well as some of the other divisional stations. In one statement, it was explained that there were a number of changes implemented with regard to the application, submission, and approval of the safety certificates when the new fire chief took over. Some departments were bypassed from oversight, and it was the fire chief's office that started to deal directly with the applications and approvals and receipt of payments. The investigation dates back to a number of activities that took place from April last year under the watch of the fire chief. Earlier this week, several firemen in a statement indicated that there should be no extension of the contract of the fire chief, who is expected to proceed on retirement soon. Many of the officers have accused him of bad management of the fire service and also believe that an extension of his contract could lead to delays in other promotions. More news when we return in just a moment.
What is fiber? Think exceptional. GTT Fiber is an advanced high-speed internet product that delivers broadband via fiber optic cables with download speeds of up to 150 megabits per second. It means your internet is faster, and GTT Fiber comes with the added coverage of our Plume HomePass Wi-Fi system. Plume extends your Wi-Fi signal to ensure that you have the best experience in every corner of your home with Wi-Fi everywhere. Upgrade to GTT Fiber today and don't get left behind tomorrow.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
You see them children playing in the dirty water again?
You know me talk to them this morning, like them don't understand.
Every time it flood, they just want to go in the flood waters. They think this thing is fun. You could get serious diseases in the water. And if an electrical line fall in the water, you could get electrocuted. Little boy, you want to tell you not to play in that water? Come here this minute.
You see the water don't start coming in the house? When you're living in a downstairs, you just got to take precautions.
That is right. You got to make sure there's a pair of long boots for every member of the family. Protect drinking water from contamination. Keep a stock of foods that can't spoil. And have some place to go if your place flood out.
Guyana, our country, our responsibility.
Mobil Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobil Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL.
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, Buster $100. Dollar, come get your Buster, Buster $100. Dollar.
Welcome back. Guyana has recorded an additional 1,019 new COVID-19 cases over the past 24 hours, pushing the number of active cases in the country to 7,613. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony is warning persons who are experiencing flu-like symptoms that they should isolate themselves or get tested, since those flu-like symptoms could actually be COVID-19 symptoms.
What we have seen is that with the current surge, with the Omicron variant, that the disease resembles more like a flu. The symptoms are similar because most people now who are infected with the Omicron variant, they will present with stuffy nose or runny nose, sore throat, some headache and things like that. So these are similar signs to persons who would get flu.
While Guyana is still to officially confirm the presence of the fast-spreading Omicron variant in the country, health officials suspect that it is that presence of the variant that is responsible for the sudden increase in new cases. More than 75% of the active cases are in Region 4, with more than 4,800 cases. There are over 900 active cases in Region 3 and 561 active cases in Region 6. Of the more than 7,000 active cases, 93 persons are in the hospital, with 64 of them at the Ocean View facility, with 13 persons in the intensive care unit. The Minister of Health said persons need to take the virus and its spread seriously, and those who are still unvaccinated need to get vaccinated soon. Turning now to the field of agriculture, the Agriculture and Innovation Entrepreneurship Program, which is intended to boost the agriculture sector while empowering youths in agriculture and creating jobs, was launched on Tuesday. Under the program, the government will provide the resources and materials to develop 25 shade houses in the first phase that will be used to house thousands of high-value crops, such as broccoli and cauliflower. The shed houses will be managed by past and present agriculture students, who will form themselves into a company, with each becoming a shareholder. In addition, an advisory committee will assist them in setting up and coordinating their company and its operations. They're also expected to manage their business on a rotational basis. During the launching, President Irfan Ali said the aim is to link the country's food security strategy to the regional food security system, as Guyana continues to develop its agriculture potential.
We are the agricultural seat of the region, and we have to lead by example. So whilst we are working on one hand to expand local production for the local market, we are already eliminating the barriers to the regional market so that we're going to expand this progressively until we're able to reach into the regional market also.
The president also said if Guyana is to become the agriculture food basket of the region, it must innovate and grow more food.
If we are to become the basket, the agricultural food basket of the region, we have to grow what we're doing 1,000 times. And to do that, we have to encourage more people to go into the direction of agriculture and to see a viable future out of it. And a viable future is not about sitting in an office.
Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa said he's sure the program will attract a lot of young persons, since young people have been developing their agricultural potential over the years.
We have a large number of young people who would have graduated over the years, tends to go into other fields, or go into office work in the agriculture sector, rather than to involve in agricultural activity and help to develop the agriculture sector.
The project will be done through interagency and interministry support systems that will see collaboration from the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport, the Ministry of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, and the Joint Services, among other groups. Let's tell you now that the personal assistant to the former Chief Election Officer Duarte Hetsberger has been fired from the position as the new Chief Election Officer Vishnu Prasad settles in his new job. Hetsberger, who was a GDF Reserve officer, was dismissed by the new CEO. While the Elections Commission has not indicated the reason behind the firing, two government-nominated commissioners, says Kunraj and Bibi Shadiq, were quoted in other sections of the media as indicating that he was fired for allegedly tampering with computers of the Guyana Elections Commission. But opposition-nominated GCOM Commissioner Vincent Alexander said he believes there is an attempt to malign the fired employee. Mr. Alexander said Hetsberger's computer is not the place where GCOM's records are kept, and therefore, even if he deleted information on his computer, there can be no accusation of him removing information, which he was the custodian of. He said there has been no accusation of any known or specific information being removed. The GCOM commissioner said he removed his presence from a GCOM meeting when he learned that the other two GCOM commissioners were attempting to link the firing of the GCOM employee to computer tampering. In September 2020, Hetsberger was arrested and questioned as part of the initial probe into allegations of fraud at the 2020 elections. However, he was released without ever being charged. At the local government elections in 2016 and 2018, Hetsberger served as the returning officer for the Georgetown elections. Chief Security Officer Pion Lee, also known as Nino Brown, who worked at the Wallison Gold Trading Company, which was robbed back in August last year, has been granted bail in the sum of $450,000 by the High Court in relation to the robbery charge. Lee has been in custody since last August, after being fingered as one of the accused in the multi-million-dollar heist. He was charged along with Guyana Defense Force rank Keon King and security guard Delroy Jackson for the robbery. King later pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 3 years in jail, while Jackson and Lee remained on remand awaiting their trial. After being on remand for the past 6 months with a case crawling through the court, the accused approached the High Court through his attorney, Bernard De Silva, and De Silva successfully argued for a bail to be granted after the magistrate's court repeatedly refused bail. In the bail application, it was pointed out that Lee remained on remand with no indication that a trial could be over anytime soon. The attorney also argued that the man was never fingered by any of the witnesses or co-accused in the case as being involved in the robbery. The attorney said the Guyana Police Force is relying on CCTV footage as the main evidence in the case, but the defense team has never been shown the evidence. The arguments were accepted by the judge and bail was granted. Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc.
Sonia, you think people easy? People just really want to do their own thing. Look across the road how we building the house low. The building code say you're supposed to be 2 feet off the ground.
And when the place flood, them just be the first to complain.
But you know sometimes we that just contribute to the flooding with we behavior.
You know, boy, we just throw things in the drains and canals. We don't keep the gutters clean and dispose of garbage properly. By the way, you got an emergency kit?
Yeah, Sonia, I got me own and it got drinking water, army medicines, and first aid things like band-aids, iodine, bandages.
And me own got in toothpaste, a change of underwear and clothing, toilet paper and soap.
Guyana, our country, our responsibility.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab buster are now only Buster, live in
Come
full
get your
color.
Buster, $100. Come get your Buster, $100.
How fast is fiber? Think fast. GTT Fiber has 3 packages with download speeds of 50, 100, and 150 megabits per second. That's fast enough to stream movies and music, to chat with Gran and Fran, to study, and more. What would you do? Upgrade to GTT Fiber today and don't get left behind tomorrow.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Said on Tuesday that the country's consul in Haiti has received threats after trying to provide humanitarian assistance to 18 former Colombian soldiers who were arrested last year for allegedly participating in the assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moïse. The Foreign Minister Marta Louise Ramirez did not provide details on the nature of the threats aimed at Julio Cesar Santa. She also did not comment on who made the threats. Colombia does not have an embassy in Haiti, and Santa Martinez has been the country's sole representative as honorary consul since 2016. He provides limited links for Colombian citizens in Haiti with a Colombian embassy in the neighboring Dominican Republic. The Foreign Ministry said that last year the consul visited detained former soldiers several times to check on their health and has also provided them with toiletries and other items sent by their relatives in Colombia. Colombia has offered to help Haitian authorities investigate the murder of Moïse, who was shot to death last year when gunmen invaded his home. In neighboring Brazil, landslides and flooding caused by torrential rains have killed at least 15 people in southeastern Brazil. The victims died between Sunday and Tuesday in an area where rivers have overflowed, leaving towns partially submerged. More than 28,000 people have had to leave their homes. Authorities are monitoring dams that could burst, as more downpours could affect the hardest hit areas. 5 people from the same family, 2 of them children, were found buried on a hillside near the state capital. In one city, an 11-year-old girl was killed when a wall collapsed on her bedroom as she was sleeping. 2 other deaths were also reported in the city of Caratinga. And finally tonight, international news. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is facing calls to stand down as Prime Minister after he admitted attending a drinks party during the lockdown. The Prime Minister apologized for the way he had handled the event in the Downing Street Garden back in 2020 and said he understood the public's rage over it. Cabinet members, including Deputy Prime Minister Dominic Raab, rallied around Mr Johnson. But Scottish Tory leader Douglas Ross and senior backbencher William Wragg have called on him to quit. Mr Ross said he had a difficult conversation with Mr Johnson after the Prime Minister's apology to MPs earlier today. He said he would write to the 1922 committee, which organizes Tory leadership contests, to register his lack of confidence in the British Prime Minister. If 54 backbench Conservative MPs send letters to the 1922 committee, it will trigger a leadership challenge. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.